Gao, Signature and Business and Economy present India Times Strategy Summit featuring the world-renowned authority on branding and advertising. Listen to the global guru in a full-day seminar that would change the way you look at concepts of branding. You would learn, among other things, 8 important drivers of successful brands. Push and pull in the retail pipeline. Moving from motivating to discriminating advertising arguments.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What happens when a midlife crisis is compounded by a divorce and the death of someone very close? Anjana went through a rough patch, battling loneliness and depression in trying to cope with both. Anjana, you're a working woman and you're heading a hotel management institute. You have had a divorce in the earlier years.
Yes.
And you're going through what you believe and you know is a menopausal stage for most women.
Right.
How are you handling it?
Well, actually, I went through this patch it started off, and then after that I lost my father. And I went through a period when I felt that I was nobody. I had nobody whom I could go to and talk to because I lost my father. He was a very, very strong support for me. And after the divorce, he was a very, very big, strong anchor, but he's been a big, he's played a very big role in my life throughout from my childhood onwards. And I had to leave my job that I was doing and come to take care of my mother. So at a period, I was also without a job, and it was like I was not getting a breakthrough in a job, and I was feeling like I'm nobody, I have no value, I don't stand anywhere. I was into severe depressions. I couldn't sleep the nights. I would scream at everyone, shout, or just, didn't want to eat anything, lots of things. But then slowly I started realizing that it's not that other people's thoughts or what they view of me makes so much of a difference as what I think of myself.
Anjana, the death of your father, when you were going through also a menopausal phase of your life, was that very difficult to balance?
It was, because with my father I could talk everything under the sun.
And that's a phase when you were going through a lot of depression and questioning yourself.
Yes, I could not talk to him. I would turn around expecting to find him there, and he wasn't there. I wanted him to tell me, come on, I'm there for you, because that's what he always used to say.
Anjana, Anu is a housewife. Do you feel that as a working woman, as a career woman, you were able to therefore handle the highs and lows and the mood swings better than she could?
To say that as a working woman, a career woman, it was easier, no. Because believe me, as a woman, a career woman, you're again battling with the men in the work front. And they are not understanding your places, the changes over there. At least maybe a person at home would understand and support you. But in the working atmosphere, nobody is going to support you. And they say, come on here, get lost.
They're wondering, do they wonder why you're going through sudden erratic mood swings and why you're bebehaving with this nervous tension?
They wonder, and there are times when they sort of stop, coming to you, or they stop, sort of sideline you, and then that hurts you all the more.
What do you think, Anu?
Yeah, maybe because I'm just battling my inner loneliness, and maybe she has to cope, and just one man. I mean, I'm just battling one man. But maybe she has so much more problems at work. But I actually really feel that at this time, whether you're working or not working, we are actually really sisters under the same skin.
Do men understand menopause?
I think only if it's related to your wife. I don't think you would really care on a very general point of view. I don't think a man, if he's in a working situation where there's a woman who's also working, he wouldn't care what kind of mental state she is in.
Or physical menopausal stage.
Yeah, he would want that work to be done. Unless and until the only thing he can relate to that, yeah, back home, my wife is irritable because she's going through that. So he's only going to try and be concerned about that, but he's not going to take care of that outside.
And Dr. Rukshida, is the midlife crisis phase and the menopausal stage of a woman the same thing? Does it coincide?
Not necessarily. So I have ladies coming to me with a midlife crisis when they're 35, 38 for that matter, and I have ladies coming with a midlife crisis when they're 60. So it doesn't always coincide with a menopause.
What I want to ask you, Mohit, is your mother, when she went through a menopausal stage, and did you sense a difference in the way she was reacting and behaving?
Yes,
Yeah?
actually. But you know, that is something that one really obviously attributes to the fact that maybe my mom is having a hard day.
So
It's
you
only-
weren't very conscious of your
Not
mom's
quite,
ups and
no,
downs
not quite.
in her menopausal
Not
stage?
quite. I usually, when I was growing up, and of course, Geetanjali, I would like to attribute that to the lack of education and understanding translated by parents to their children. Okay?
I'm gonna interrupt here and say, sorry, I'm a medico, okay? I come from working with colleagues who are medical doctors who understand everything. And how often have I heard a comment like, you know, okay, she's the HOD, the head of department of something, she's menopausing and making my life miserable. So, you know, we have these comments not only by men, but also by women. I mean, I have had to say, you know, get a little upset with my colleagues, how can you say this, you know, this, or is it that month, that time of the month?
Anjana, did you feel more lonely because you didn't have a spouse, a partner?
Yes, definitely. I did feel that that there was nobody there for me to fall back on, and also
No kids at all.
No kids at all. But as Anu pointed out very, very rightly, that was a period also though I had very strong relations, this time when I found that with my sister who's a doctor herself, we could share. We are not, there's not much of a gap between us. We could share a lot of our experiences, and the bond between us became very, very strong. I did at that stage think of, you know, going ahead and adopting somebody. But
that late in life? Because
Yes,
midlife
yes.
is in your 40s. And
You're right, but I wanted to adopt a child. Very much I wanted to adopt a child, but everyone in my family was against adopting. They said no. They came up with all sorts of things. And again, teaching, I find that my students
yes.
have played a very, very important role because they somewhere fill that gap. I have become more mellow in my, you know, thought process with
Oh,
them.
so that means your menopausal stage made you more mellow as a teacher. That's interesting.
Yes, it did.
What happened with my mom is that she's a very enterprising woman. She's a homemaker, but she's involved herself in lots and lots of activities. Just like what Anjana is saying, when you're doing something constructive and positive, then it has a positive effect on you. You know, menopause, I think, can change you for the better or worse.
Also, it's very, very important for parents to talk about this. It's not taboo. It's about life, and it's about something that could save your relationship at some point in time.
Would it have helped, Natasha? Do you think, Anu, do you think if you'd
No, I think
talk to your daughter and warned her?
I think children don't think of their parents as you know, as human or as sexual beings.
Kids think that my mom and dad were born my mom and dad.
And they
And
should
that's all
be
there is to it.
the same way right through.
Absolutely.
There has to be a role reversal when your parent becomes older and you become an adult. And the parent is never ever going to come and say that, listen, I need to depend on you right now. They find it difficult to ask because they've always been giving.
Well, Hriday, you also made a film on the subject of loneliness when a person reaches a certain stage in life. Let's take a look at a clip from the film.
आप शीशा रेस्टोरेंट में किसी के साथ गई थी? हाँ। वहाँ उनके साथ आपने डांस भी किया था? हाँ।
तुम तो ऐसे बात करो जैसे इट्स अ सिन टू हैव अ फ्रेंड, अ फीमेल फ्रेंड। व्हाई नॉट? इस उम्र में। हाँ तो कुछ ही महीनों में आप दादा बनने वाले हैं। मेरी दोस्ती का मेरे दादा बनने से क्या संबंध है?
Hriday, what inspired you to making a film on the subject of loneliness of a man and woman when they reach, especially when they reach a certain age and phase of life?
When we started interacting with people, the biggest thing what we heard from everybody was their kids oppose. The kids can't accept the mother getting married. At that age, in our country, let's face it, we talk a lot, but we are all hypocrites. We don't accept our mom. We can't attend our mom's wedding. I can't attend my father's wedding. Go see Baba Ramdev, do pranayam, go join Art of Living. You are supposed to go to the mandir. You are not supposed to get married. How can you live your life? You've lived your life. Your life is over. Now it's our turn.
You mean they don't empathize with the deep loneliness?
Completely, because
that
they
the
can't
parent
imagine.
feels?
They can't, because they are not experiencing that. So the biggest, and the parent, like ma'am here, even if she thinks, like she said, she wanted to adopt a child. What about the society? What will people say? Her family opposed. Why did they oppose? They could not imagine or put themselves in her shoes of how lonely she was feeling. At the end of the day, she's somebody who's sleeping lonely, she's sleeping alone.
You'd think life was perfect when you're the mother of an international tennis star and your husband runs a very successful tennis academy. Meera Bhupati's been there and begs to differ.
I was a housewife, 24 hours, housewife and mother. I gave up my career for my family. I was feeling lonely and lost because my husband had come here and started a new business. So I felt totally neglected, no friends, nothing. It was a big void in my life because my son was traveling and my daughter, she was grown and she was busy with her college and all that. So I felt nobody needed me anymore. I ran out of the house feeling totally insufficient, insecure. My parents were no more. I wanted to kill myself. And that day, a mighty miracle happened because I went and parked in front of a church and I was just sobbing. That day, my life changed. I stopped thinking about myself, you know. Before that, it was only me, my, and our that mattered. But that day, everything changed. And now I travel all around India. I do a lot of counseling, and the self-satisfaction I get for serving others without wanting return is something amazing. I was never a working woman. My daughter felt it very badly because 24-hour mother is no longer 24-hour mother. And also my husband, he kept telling me, you're changed, you're different. But I couldn't help it because I wanted to do so many other things in my life. Because they were used to a 24-hour wife and mother, it was a little difficult. I feel every woman has to have a life of her own also. Because when your children grow up, you don't blame your children. They have a life of their own. Your husband has a life of his own. So if you feel empty, it is your fault. And I'm a very happy, fulfilled mother and wife. I feel younger than a 25-year-old. I'm running around tirelessly.
Up next, two men in their midlife crisis, but after a break.
Pressures on you are so tremendous that there is really no getting away from it.
I was really scared my daughter would start calling me uncle.
Men and women approach work very differently. Men and women approach family very differently.
I won't take all that they hand me down, 'cause once I get started I go to town. 'Cause I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. And I don't wanna live my life like everybody else. And I don't wanna live my life like everybody else. Like everybody else.
Imagine you're a foreign tourist and are considering a vacation to India. Here's India in all its glory.